Because I tried everything and the only thing that actually worked cost me nothing. Today I want to show you why, and I want to start with something I've never said publicly before. Hey, I'm Al, engineer, technical manager, father, husband, and 5 years ago, let me be completely honest with you about what my life looked like. I was overweight. I had anxiety that never fully went away. I was snapping at my wife and son in a way I wasn't proud of. I smoked. I drank on Saturdays. By Sunday evening, my mind was already back at the office. I had allergies I couldn't explain. I woke up at 3 a.m. for no reason. I ate compulsively at night. And I had cortisol belly, the specific kind of weight around the middle that doesn't move no matter what you do. I was a technical manager. I ran complex projects. I made decisions that affected entire teams. I delivered products at the highest standard under impossible deadlines. And I couldn't manage my own body. Then one day I sat in a doctor's office and heard the word prediabetic. I drove home in silence, and I made a decision. Not a diet, not to buy a supplement, not to join a gym, to understand what actually was broken. Because I am an engineer, and engineers don't fight symptoms, they find the root cause. What I found changed everything. So, cortisol belly. You've seen it everywhere lately. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, supplements promising to fix it in 30 days. Cortisol cocktails, ashwagandha, everything. I want to give you the honest version. No supplements to sell. Just what actually I found. Cortisol is your alarm system. When you feel a threat, a deadline, a difficult conversation, a sleepless night, kids demanding everything at the same time, cortisol fires. And that is supposed to happen. Cortisol wakes you up in the morning. It mobilizes energy when you need it. It keeps you sharp under pressure. For a parent with a demanding job and three things happening simultaneously, cortisol fires a lot. The problem is not that it fires. The problem is when it never turns off. When cortisol stays elevated chronically, your body stores fat around the abdomen. It breaks down muscles for quick fuel. It disrupts sleep, which raises cortisol further, and it drives you towards sugar and carbs, because your brain needs fast glucose when the alarm is running. That is the cortisol belly, not a hormone you have too much of. A system stuck in a threat mode that never gets the signal the danger is over. Stand down. So what actually fixed it? Not a program I bought, not an injection, not a 30-day challenge. Now, before I show you the three inputs that change everything, I want to say something honest. You will hear me talk about this everywhere I go, every video, every email, every conversation with a parent who is where I was. And I make no apology for that, because I cannot emphasize enough how important these three things are. Not because I read them in a book, because I lived without them for 40 years, and I live with them now. And the difference between those two versions of my life is not small. It is everything. These are not hacks, they are not trends, they are the three inputs that took me from pre-diabetic, overweight, and snapping at my family to where I am now. And they work. Not sometimes, not for some people. They work for me. They work for me still. Every single week. That is why I preach them to everyone who needs them. Because they needed to hear it as much as I needed to find it. 3 inputs. That is all it was. Input 1. Movement that consumes cortisol. Not punishment. Not 2 hours in the gym. 15 minutes of lifting weights or a small walk fast enough that talking is slightly uncomfortable. When you physically move, you give cortisol somewhere to go. Your body produces that cortisol, that stress hormone, because it thought there was a threat. When you move, the threat response completes its cycle. Cortisol gets used. The alarm quiets. I do this every day, not because I love it every day, because I stopped asking myself if I want to and started asking if I want a different evening. The answer is always yes. But number 2, the transition ritual. This one changed my relationship with my family more than anything else. Before I walk through my front door, I sit in the car. 6 breaths. In through my nose, out slow like blowing out a candle. 6 times. And I ask myself one question. Who do I want to be in the next 2 hours? Not the manager, not the person who solved 12 problems a day. The father, the husband. That 2-minute ritual is the difference between walking in as cortisol or walking in as myself. Input number 3. Real food. Food my body actually recognizes. Not a diet, not calorie counting. I have never counted a calorie in my life. Protein at lunch, so blood sugar doesn't crash and trigger a cortisol spike at 3 p.m. Protein at dinner, so blood sugar stays stable overnight and cortisol doesn't spike at 3 a.m. Food that comes from nature, not from a chemistry lab. Your body knows what to do with eggs, meat, fish, vegetables, nuts. It does not know what to do with the ingredients list of a shiny package that has 30 items. When blood sugar is stable, cortisol has less to react to. The alarm fires less, the belly responds. I want to be honest with you. I'm not perfect now. I still have stressful periods. I still have weeks where sleep is difficult. I still sometimes feel the cortisol belly trying to come back after a few bad nights. But here's the difference. It is rare now. It is manageable. And when it shows up, I can see it for what it is. A signal, not a sentence. When I compare where I was 5 years ago to where I am now, the anxiety is gone. The snapping is rare. My son has a father who is actually present in the evenings. My wife has a husband who walks through the door as himself. I reached 50% body fat. I have more energy at 45 than I had at 25. Without Ozempic, without injections, without supplements, without counting a single calorie. Not because I won the genetic lottery, because I put my finger on the wound. I made room for awareness and fixed the system. My life is now, in every way, 10 times more wealthy. That is why I am here, because it is possible. And once you understand what is actually broken, it becomes possible with surprising ease. If this makes sense to you, the free night reset card is the first input your system needs tonight. The one that tells your alarm the threat is over. Stand down. Link is the description below, or common cortisol, and I will send it to you directly. And if this video explains something you have been living but could not name, share it with one person who is still buying supplements that are not fixing anything. They deserve the honest version too. See you in the next one.